So, yesterday, this trailer dropped, or maybe a day or so ago. I don't remember exactly when it dropped, but I've watched it a couple of times, and although it is in a different language, it's in a language that I appreciate because it's in the language that is the origin of the story it's telling. What I'm talking about is they apparently have a new Three Musketeers film coming out next year, and it's all in the French language. And the only person that I think anybody will recognize is the person they're promoting, which is Eva Green. Now, don't want to make this just about a trailer thing because essentially I wanted to try to steer away from doing trailer entries anymore. I feel like it's not anything I really want to talk about anymore. I feel like I'd rather talk about the actual film itself, the actual piece of content that's meant to come from the trailer. I don't mind trailer rundowns. I do have a lot of fun doing those, but I won't be doing individual trailer stories anymore. What I thought would be good for this is to kind of go through a little bit of what we have in the film history for the Three Musketeers sort of story, because this isn't the first time we've seen the story be adapted, and it's more than likely not going to be the last time. Now, we could say that the Three Musketeers in films can go all the way back to, I believe, the 30s, possibly even earlier than that, but I believe the very first film was sometime in the 30s, and it was a musical. Then there was another time it was done somewhere in the 40s, which was a little bit more of, I think, the romance kind of angle of things. Then there's one in the early 70s, which was apparently only meant to be the first half of what Alexandre Dumas, who is the writer of the series, it was only supposed to be the first half of that, and it was to lead into a couple of other ones. I don't believe they ever came out with the other ones. I could be wrong about that. There might have been another film for the Three Musketeers. I can't seem to find it unless it's under a different name. But if I look really quick, hold on, because like I said in my last entry, I like doing this now. Three Musketeers in films. Yeah, okay, so we have there's a Three Musketeers film in 1921, 1939, which is a musical. I was right about that. 1948, which is, this looks like more of a romantic kind of novel. 1973, and yes, there is another one in 1974, which is called The Four Musketeers. So there were these two films that came back to back that were only, again, it's the same cast and it's meant to be the same story. And the only time it's done again, which again is another loose adaptation of the novels, is then done in 1989, which is called The Return of the Musketeers. So that's just novels that are not with the entire Three Musketeers mantra. But after that, you have 1978, which sees D'Artagnan and the Three Musketeers come out. I've never heard about this, but this is apparently a musical from a popular Soviet musical. Don't know anything about that. And then we get to the 90s where we get what the real meat and bones is of what we know of the Three Musketeers. Now, the first film that ever introduced me to the Three Musketeers was the one in 1993. The film in 1993 is just a tremendous piece of, I want to say, 90s history. And it's just, it's got these actors who were like big deals. Like, it's got Charlie Sheen, Kiefer Sutherland, Chris O'Donnell, Oliver Platt, Tim Curry, all these people that are in this film. It's just peak 90s glory, and it's just probably one of my favorite versions of the Three Musketeers. Like, I'm not gonna like say bad things about the 2011 version, but there are things that the 2011 version I think did a little overboard on. And I said this in my last entry about action films, is that there's a way you do action where it's still entertaining. And although a lot of parts in the 2011 version aren't as entertaining, they're a little overdone, I still can't hack the fact that Ray Stevenson and Luke Evans and Mila Jovovich and Orlando Bloom and Christoph Waltz, and it's all these amazing people still able to make these characters kind of come to life in a way. And I still found enjoyment in how they wanted to do the 2011 story. But to me, nothing beats the 1993 story. The only thing that does a little bit more for what I would have wanted maybe for the Three Musketeers. Now, again, I don't know a lot of the lore. I've never read the books. I should read the books. The books are very old. And to make at least, I see at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different films, not including the remakes I just found, which was the Four Musketeers and the Return of the Musketeers. But you have these new versions coming out, and then you have a film that I'm going to bring up that isn't even correlated to the name, and I never even knew it was a story about the Three Musketeers until I want to say, I think my wife pointed it out to me years ago, and I finally sat down and watched it when she pointed it out, and it's from 1998, and it's The Man in the Iron Mask. The Man in the Iron Mask is Leonardo DiCaprio, Jeremy Irons, John Malkovich. It's the Three Musketeers, but it's not focused on what the Three Musketeers story is. It's focused, I believe, slightly after what that story is meant to portray, or it might be a completely different story altogether, but I do believe it's kind of after the events of whatever takes place in the original novels for the Three Musketeers, because D'Artagnan, who is played by, what's this guy's name? This guy is hold on, let's pull up the film. I don't want to get him wrong because he's been in a lot of stuff. He's a really big 90s actor. I don't think I've seen him in anything recently. Gabriel Bryan. I would have never have thought of that name. I don't think I've really looked into what this guy's name is. I know his face. You'll know his face if you look up Gabriel Bryan with a Y. You'll see who I'm talking about. So he plays D'Artagnan in the film. Now, D'Artagnan is part of the King's Guard, and the actual Three Musketeers are kind of not outlaws, but they're outcasts, and they don't really pick up their swords anymore. And it's based around Leonardo DiCaprio's character, who plays the Prince of, I guess, England. I can't remember off the top of my head now, but he's King. Here, hold on, let me scroll down. Yeah. Philip Bourbon, King Louis XIV. Okay, that's who Leonardo DiCaprio plays. Now, the storyline is that Leonardo DiCaprio has a twin brother that he was never told about, because apparently you can only have one king and they didn't want them fighting over it. So they buried his twin brother deep into the dungeons of the castle and of the entire reign of England. And they let King Louis grow up, not knowing that he was he had a brother. He didn't have a brother at all. Nobody told him that. So somebody finds out, and they say, we have to go get him out, and we're going to replace him. We're going to take this King Louis, who's a dick, and we're going to replace him with his twin, Philip, both being played by Leonardo DiCaprio, because this is back in the 90s where they just knew that technology to make twins was sort of working and sort of worthwhile. And it's just that story of all of the replacement of the king and how the king actually gets out, and they try to chase Philip down, and he won't have him killed because he is his brother. And the Three Musketeers, of course, pick up their arms again, and they go out to save Philip and save the kingdom and all this stuff. So The Man in the Iron Mask is probably the only other sort of Three Musketeers storyline that I can sit down and watch no matter what, along with the 1993 version, which is the very basic story of the Three Musketeers, but also starring all of these tremendous actors when they were very young. Young Kiefer Sutherland, young Charlie Sheen, young Chris O'Donnell, young Oliver Platt, all these young actors just doing their thing back in the early 90s, and it's just a great, great 90s movie. So between those two, there's another one that I discovered, which I wasn't fully aware of, which, a little bit surprising to me, I guess. I don't know exactly if it's a full-on Three Musketeers story, but what it is, it's called The Musketeer. It's called 2001. Again, it's supposed to be based on the original Three Musketeers novel, but I think it's more focused on the D'Artagnan character from what I'm seeing. And Alexandre Dumas, yeah. I mean, it says it's just based on that novel, but I've never heard of this version from 2001. I don't know if this went into theaters. I mean, it's got a budget and a box office. Oh, geez. The budget was 36 million. The box office was barely 34. So I guess that's why, you never heard about it. I don't even know any of these. Had Tim Roth in it. I'm guessing he was super young when he was in it. Yeah, I don't know any of these actors, really. This guy's from V for Vendetta. Stephen Rea. Yeah, no, I don't know why this is a thing. I don't even know if I want to try to look for it to even give it a shot. I don't know. Maybe? Yeah, The Musketeer from 2001. This is some part of the Three Musketeer history. So, yeah, I mean, things are a little bit shaky, especially when you look at the 2011 version being the last one that we sort of got, the last full feature film for the Three Musketeers. And I guess this is kind of a thing. They make them every, 10 or some odd years. So the one in 2011, again, I said it before, has its moments where it's good, but then also has its moments where it's a little of the over-top action I don't like. So a lot of the times when I watch it, I'll kind of skip around, and I'll only go to the scenes I really enjoy. Like, there's this whole story point with a boat that's that's on hot air balloons and stuff, and it's floating, and they're able to shoot cannons at a castle. It's very much over the top, and I think it was just meant to be another sort of kind of launching pad for Logan Lerman, who plays D'Artagnan in that film. He was basically doing film after film after film in the mid 2010s. We're talking about he had just come off of Gamer in 2009, and then he was starting the Percy Jackson series when he did those two films in 2010 and 2012, I think. So in the middle of that, he does the Three Musketeers. And then after that, he pops up in Fury with Brad Pitt and all these other guys. And it's kind of been slow for him since. I haven't really seen him pop up in anything else since then. But he was really big in that little 5-6 year kind of period where it was all these roles that was just him showing that he could be this sort of, I guess, action star. But Three Musketeers wasn't it. It definitely was not it. Now, going to what this trailer gave you, it gives you what seems to be not only maybe a little bit more of a true to its origins story, but it looks really good. For the fact that I'm going into this just saying, maybe it'd be nice to see the Three Musketeers again, and it being done, in its homeland of its home language. It's a French tale. It's about French history. So the fact that it is done in all of its kind of accuracy in that fashion, I'm looking forward to it. It's being split into two parts. The first part is going to be called D'Artagnan, and the second part is called Milady. I'm guessing Eva Green is playing Milady. She's the only one that I've seen that I didn't realize, I guess, could speak French. But she does. In the trailer, she's speaking it, and it looks like she's doing a great job at it. So we're getting 2 new Three Musketeers movies in 2023. And, to be honest, why not? If it's a good enough story to be adapted this many times and have this many attempts done on it, who's to say that this probably isn't going to be one of the best? If they don't do too many things that are over the top, if they don't try to cheese it up, if they don't use any sort of really bad tactics to kind of tell certain plot points, I guess I should say. I don't know exactly what the source material is because I never read the novels. However, I do know enough to say when something might be a little bit off, because when there's enough movies on it and you've seen just about all of them, you can kind of tell where things are kind of going in a direction of maybe nonsensical. But then again, maybe that's also just me viewing what I think the story is from other adaptations, and those might not be true to the books either. So maybe I should read the book before these drop, but I'm still going to watch it whether I get to read them or not, because it looks like they're really fun movies. This looks like a really fun new version of what you can bring to the table when it comes to the Three Musketeers. And I for one, am looking forward to it.